That's the scene in the parade ring, and the stars of the show are making their appearance here. Silent Faith for Dow's claims 3, Mr. Solo TH Co claims 3, Jitta Boy Aslam claims 1, and Salvagente CS Chin claims 4 on number 12. So he'll carry the 50 kilos. Now Silent Faith, he I dare say will figure somewhere in your speed map, Frost. He's a horse who can go forward. His only win came on turf. He's had 19 starts for just the one win.
Yeah, he'll definitely be figuring in the speed map. There actually is a fair bit of pace in this race, and it probably won't help a horse like him because he needs to go to the front and be left alone in front. And when that sort of happens, he can win a race.
That's what happened when he did win.
But there's plenty of pace. Salvagente is also in this race. We'll talk about him shortly. But on looks at him in the yard, he does look well, and I think he's going all right. He could be just a quartet chance here. I like the way he parades here, and obviously the claim for Freddie Fidows is a help for him as well. Okay, so he's 90 and 28, parades well, number 1. Here's number 2, and Mercy Bollet. I have to say I wasn't really a believer about this horse, but no, he's put enough good performances on the board now for me to come around, and I'm going to tip him on top. 12 and 5.1. Thought he was going to win last time, but he just got a little weary at the end of the mile, so I'm hoping he runs out a strong mile. Yeah, no, I think he'll run it out, Matt. Well, the reason why he got tired last time, I thought, because he had to work hard from gate 11. He really had to be ridden aggressively to get across, and he did get across, but sort of that early effort did tell on him late. And he did win up to 1,800 metres in Australia, so he should be able to handle the mile here, and he's drawn well. Vlad Jurek rode him last time, and he's on him again. And I think Vlad's a good jockey for this horse. He's nice and strong and aggressive. We saw him get on Palambaro and get a victory out of him earlier tonight. So he's sticking with him, and I think he can either lead, or I think he might just sit in the off the pace here and just get a lovely box seat run. And he does look like he's a good strong chance here, Misty Bollet. Okay, that's number 2. 12 minutes away. He is the favourite currently. Number 3 is Mr. Solo, 91 and 32. Is this the horse you made a horse to follow about 6 months ago, Frost? Yeah, that's the horse. And but he hasn't really done much since. I made him a horse to follow off his second behind Mitre Peak. That was earlier in the year. That was the second placing, and he hasn't done a lot since. So he's been a bit disappointing, the horse. I think he's got a few problems. He's bandaged in front. He's always bandaged in his when he's out there working. So I think he's got a few leg problems. So that's my main concern with him. And I don't think he's racing that well at the moment. You following him tonight? No, I'm not. Okay, so no Mr. Solo for Frost. Number 3, and I won't be entertaining him either. He can go solo tonight, number 3. Here's 4, Sky Fortune. Pacifiers have been on his last couple of runs. It hasn't seemed to improve his fortune. And for a horse with fortune in his name, he hasn't really lived up to that at just $1,500. No, he's had a 4th placing. Joe's ridden him, Maria's ridden him a few times too. And I thought this was, one ride that Maria had tonight that he might struggle on to get him home. And doesn't have a lot of form. He's currently at $86, so punters aren't totally convinced Barrera can get him home here. And he looks to be walking out it nice and relaxed here in the yard, but I think he lacks a bit of ability and willing to tip against him. On form, he should be about 300. It's just the Marira factor. His last few races, he's gone around at 256, 294 and 400 last time. Marira's got him down to 86 here, but not for mine. I'm looking elsewhere in race number 6. Okay, so number 5 is who else? Now, I've got the feeling you're going to give this one a bit of a hope. 47 and 14. He's got a terrific record over the mile. His wins have come on the polytrack, Frost. Yes, 3 wins over the mile on the polytrack, so I think he's got a fair bit going for him. He looks good in the yard. I don't like gate number 10. I think that's the only negative. But one thing about him, he has been drawing wide at his last sort of 5 starts. He's gates 10 or worse. So at least he's used to doing it tough. Vorster's a jockey who rides the mile circuit well. He rides the poly good. So if anyone can get him into a decent position, maybe it's Bar and Voice. He'll ride him aggressively, and if he gets half a decent run in this race, he's good enough to win this. So I think he's good odds at the moment at 47 and 14.
Yeah, he's got the record, and whilst you might go through his current form and say, okay, he ran 10th last time, I don't want to be a part. Sometimes in these races you need to look at the overall picture. And quite often horses who are not showing any form, but their long-term form says Class 5, 1,600 metres, yes. He may be one that fits into that category. Now, Zinku, you mentioned he worked very well. He's been looking well on the track.
Yeah, nice gallop by Zinku during the week. Hasn't raced for 70 days. And I thought a couple of his recent trials were okay. So I think he's coming along quite well for this race. And he's up 12 kilos in body weight, but he looks pretty good in the yard. It's probably might be a little bit of a query for him. Hasn't raced for a while. First up here over a mile, but he seems to race best over this distance. So willing to give him a chance. And he sort of has raced well around this sort of body weight before, so don't be too hard on him that he's up 12 kilos. And I think with Gate 1 gives him a big advantage here, and Simon in the saddle, I think he's good each way bet at this stage.
He has been as high as 58 in the ratings, this horse, and his wins didn't actually come in Class 5. It's been later in life that he's found himself down in these sort of races. 39 and 10, gate number 1 for the Mount of Simon as we look at Equience number 7. He's first up from a little bit of a break, 84 days away from the racetrack. His only win did come on the poly track, and importantly, it was over this trip.
Yeah, John Powell having his first ride here on Equience, and he looks all right in the yard, but I must admit he was sort of showing a bit of form, last year, but, basically in 2011 he's had the 4 starts and hasn't really got close to them, and needs to improve a lot for mine. Got the pacifiers on here, the blinker pacifiers on, drawn well and looks good, but on form for me, he's hard to have.
So they are coming out. Still a few more we need to get through here, including Rodham as they file out. And here's number 8, Rodham. I had been following this particular mare, and I've dropped off now. Right for Alan Munro.
Yep, well, if you're dropping off her, I'll follow you too, Matt. Yeah, I don't have too many positive things to say about her.
She did run a couple of nice races going back a few runs, and she didn't have the best of luck, but no. I sort of gave her a chance, and now I'm looking elsewhere. So no Rodham for me. Number 9, Jitter Boy, ran over 1,200 metres last time from gate number 1. Aslam to ride here from gate number 9.
Likes the poly track, so the surface is good for him. Been a little bit disappointing for a while because he's been down in Class 5 company for a fair time now and still hasn't been able to get another win on board. Going over the mile for the first time is interesting with this horse. I think they're just sort of trying him over the longer distance just to sort of see if they can get a decent run out of him. Not sure how he's going to go over the distance. They've taken the blinkers off, which is a good move because he probably would over race if he's going first time mile with blinkers on. So it's a good move taking the blinkers off if he relax a bit. And if he got back to his old form, he could play a part somewhere, but you just have to take him a fair bit on trust because we're just not sure what he's going to do over the mile, and he's drawn a little bit awkwardly as well. Well,
he did get up to a mark of 60 earlier on in life. Now here's Eternal Bright Frosty, 230 and 52. Punters are not keen. Nothing really in the form in recent times to get you too enthused?
No, I'm not keen either. Lightly framed type of horse, light behind the saddle and struggling a bit to show form. Another horse, he just hasn't done much lately to get us excited. Okay,
and Salvagente, number 12, he is likely to be up on the pace with the likes of Mercy Bollet and Silent Faith and Co. And his recent efforts have been good, a 4th to Dustin and a 4th to Old Faithful most recently.
Drawn barrier 8, and he just loves to lead in his races. He's a highly strung individual. He's got plenty of headgear on. He's got the noseband on as well, and all sorts of things happening with his head. I think there's even a crossover noseband and a set of blinkers, so he's all geared up with the headgear because he's a highly strung and he's an aggressive type horse, and you just sort of got to let him roll along in his races. So look for him to show out and be the leader here. His horse in the past, I've said, hasn't usually gone that well for apprentices. He's more of a senior riders type horse, and apprentice has never actually won on him. But this young kid, C.S. Chin, he's had a couple of rides on him now. His last 2 rides he's had, on this horse for 4th placing. So
yes,
he's this horse is going quite well for him, and if he gets left alone in front, I'm not sure whether he will, because as you pointed out, we've got Misty Ball and also Silent Faith who'll be pushing up early. He could be hard to run down, Salvagente. He was beaten a fair way last time over the 1900 metres behind Old Faithful, and that was only last Friday night, but he did still hang on for 4th.
Righto, Frost, I've gone to Misty Ball to win this over Salvagente, number 6 Zinku, and number 7 Equience, 2, 12, 6 and 7.
Okay, Matt, I thought it's a pretty tough race, and I thought he had a tough run last time, Misty Bolle, so the fact that he's drawn a good gate here in gate number 4 here tonight, I was giving him the edge, Misty Bolle, over another horse that's drawn well, Zinku, in gate number 1, so I've gone the 2 ahead of the 6. Put number 5, who else, in there for 3rd. If he gets any luck in running, I think he's going to run a nice race here, and he's currently into $38 here, who else. And then I put number 1, Silent Faith, and another one who's drawn okay. Middle of the line draw, and on the pace, and might be able to stay on there for 4. So 2, 6, 5 and 1 are our thoughts down here. And Misty Bolin, I think, Craig, as we head upstairs, you're with number 2 here?
Yes, I was jumping on number 2 here, Misty Bolin, Vlad Jurek, good gate, go forward type of horse, should be hard to hold out in a fairly even sort of a race. I thought Equience might be able to run second. Significant riding change here with John Power going on. The blinker pacifiers for the first time. So has worn blinkers in the past, but the pacifiers are in combination here. It's had 2 recent barrier trials. Trialled last week and finished 5th, running on very nicely after getting squeezed shortly after the start. I thought the barrier trial last week was pretty good from Equience. So it might be a horse to follow in this, and drawn nice and low there for Johnny Powell. Thought Zinko for 3rd, and who else? If it had drawn a better gate, and it just has a shocking run with the barrier draws. If it had drawn better, it was a legitimate chance, but probably makes it a little bit tough from out there. But there's still market support for who else, currently at $36. So going the way at 2, 7, 6 and 5, $14 favourite here, Misty Bolle. Hopefully Vlad Jurek can make it a double here tonight. Successful on Palambaro for Bruce Marsh earlier on in the evening. So they're up at the starts, only about 2 minutes away from official start time as they arrive at the 1600 metres. This is Division 2 of the Class 5.
Thank you, Craig. So a couple of minutes away, there is Equience on screen. And also Misty Bolle in the red, Equience in the green and Rodham, and Salvagente. So the start right down in front of us here, 1600 metres the journey. Struggling to see them through the mist and cigarette smoke. And oh, it's good to be down here though, Frost. It's a real back to basics sort of feel, isn't it?
Plenty of atmosphere, isn't there?
Yes, yes. So no, but the punters, hopefully they're getting plenty of winners. They're very well behaved. There's no I reckon if you're in Australia and we were trying to do what we're doing here, we'd have plenty of people sticking their head over the fence and offering us some advice, but not here. They're very well.
It's only early yet, Matt.
You reckon I've gone up too early? I've been down here for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, we've still got a few more races to go.
Okay.
And Sunday will be the big test with our 10-event program, and warm afternoon probably expected for Sunday. So let's just hope the weather's quite fine, because Sunday the main attraction will be Rocket Man going around the Kranji Stakes A. Indeed, and he's got to carry the 59.5, but on ratings he actually is in very well, and he carries the same weight, of course, as Better Be the One. Now the field is moving into line for race number 6 tonight, and here's Equience going forward, so they are getting set, and Misty Bolle with the rider Vlad Jurek in search of a double. He's the favourite, 14 and 8.
Yes, so moving into the gates quite nicely now for the running here of race number 6. Jurek looking for a winning double. Now the gates are being loaded up here. Waiting on Eternal Bright to come forward. Rodham out of the gates as well, with Sky Fortune to move in. Misty Bolle takes up its position. $14 favourite here for Jurek. It's in the red with the green sash, quartered cap. Sky Fortune comes along, and Eternal Bright will be the last to come into the gates. So we're almost set to go. This is the running of race number 6. They're set. Off and racing now. Misty Bolle commenced very nicely. Silent Faith being ridden up on the outside, trying to go forward. Eternal Bright is between horses as they come down to the winning post and go by it now. Selvagente, it emerges through the pack. It's got the checked silks on. Going forward over on the inside is who else as they go towards the back section? Zinku at least. They were followed by Sky Fortune. Then came Jitterboy. Who else is trapped out wide? They were followed by Equience, enjoying a lovely run, but a fair way off the leader. Mr. Solo outside of it. And last of all is Rodham as they race down the back. Silent Faith has done a little bit of work, but has reached the lead here. Led over Selvagente, going to second. Mercy Bolle, the favourite, is third over on the inside. Followed then by Eternal Bright. Then came Zinku down on the inside of Sky Fortune. Equience in the green, getting off the fence between horses. Who else hasn't been able to get in at the 800 is still out 3 and 4 deep as they come down the side. Jitterboy on trial at the 1600 is being a hard ridden. A gap of 2 lengths to Mr. Solo, and Rodham last of all. Down the side, and Silent Faith goes okay. He led by a length over in second. Selvagente. Now Mercy Bolle picks up the speed between horses, runs into it nicely. Next of all is Equience and Zinku as they come to the bend. They were followed as they sweep for home by Sky Fortune, and who else out wider? Mercy Bolle pounced on the lead over Silent Faith at the 300. They were followed by Equience, and who else is down the outside? Mercy Bolle in front. Who else? And Equience coming at fairly quickly. Who else on the outside? Equience between horses. Mercy Bolle trying to lift. Who else on the outside? Equience is just to his inside trying to lift, but who else just in front? Equience coming back. They hit it in a driving finish tight. If anything, maybe Equience over who else, but it's very tight. They're beaten off Mercy Bolle. They were followed across the line by Silent Faith. Then came Sky Fortune. Next to come in was Rodham, followed by Selvagente. Then came Mr. Solo. Zinku dropped out of it. Well back was Eternal Bright, and the last in was Jitterboy. Very tight finish here. And we're on a shocking angle where we broadcast from now, the new spot. I thought maybe Equience, and I may have guessed right. It is going to be an absolute breath to the position we call from. You always think the inside, so you've got to allow for the outside, but I thought there might have been a margin there for Equience. But as I say, we're about 8 to 10 metres past the line now, so we're in a shocking position really to have a crack at the photo, so I probably shouldn't have, but I thought Equience might have got there. But it is fairly tight, and we wait for the numbers to come up. Mercy Bolle, gee, it loomed into it, didn't it? Like it was going to just absolutely bolt in at about the 450. He pressed the go button and go it went, and went by the leader Silent Faith fairly quickly. But these two have emerged, and number 7 gets at Equience at 7, 5, 2 and 4. 7, 5, 2 and 4. I mentioned before the race, its trial last week was very good. We had to finish 5th or 6th in a barrier trial, but it wasn't a bad effort. Finished 5th in actual fact in a barrier trial last week, but it did go well, and beautifully ridden by John Powell. I mentioned it a few times in the run. He just gave it every possible chance. It was back on the fence, about 3rd from last initially. Next time I've come to call it, I've had to give him another mention because he's one off the fence poking between them. Coming to the bend, he's poked up again, and he's been able to win. But in fairness to who else, the barrier draw has stitched him right up here because he's been 3, 4 deep throughout and has done a stack of work, whereas Equience has got the cheap run. And who else has gone down by an absolute nose? We'll show you the photo finish very soon. And it's clear enough, but only a very, very narrow margin. A nose, 3 1/4, 2 1/4 and a head, 140.82, 140.82, 7, 5, 2 and 4, 7, 5, 2 and 4, 38 and 12 for the winner, 38 and 12 for Equience. So a very good finish. We had some nice finishes here tonight, and Equience was able to win here. Just a second win from 35 starts by Prince Ferdinand out of Ice Queen for Lansdowne Stable. So Donna Lansdowne and the team will be pretty happy here. Basil Marcus too. Nice reward for Basil. He had a winner last week with Poligno, and he thought it might be his last here in Singapore. He finishes up after this weekend, but no, he's landed another one with Equience. John Powell, the rider. Second goes the way of who else? A 6-year-old by Beautiful Crown out of Luge for C.H. Lee, Theo Kieser and Bar and Vorst. A big run, be on me next time sort of a performance. And Mercy Bolle, 6-year-old by Giants Causeway out of Pride of Goodwood for 881 stable Dr. Yo and Vlad Jurek. So it's a nose, 3 1/4, 140.84, 7, 5, 2 and 4 after race number 6.
Yeah, John Power coming back to scale. There's Basil Marcus there, and yeah, well done to all concerned. And it just came down to a good ride. He had the easier run in transit, where who else? He had to cover a lot of ground.
He might change his mind, Basil. He might want to stick around. A couple of winners for him. Now, interesting, Frost, that trial that Craig was alluding to, Joyful Heartman came through the same trial. Equience, he finished just behind Joyful Heartman. Now, a couple of other runners that will be going around this weekend. Attorney General came through the same trial, and also Largo Bay, who's got a winning hope as well. Now, California Kid, who won the trial, I tipped him earlier on and he did nothing, but the form has worked out okay. Now, talk us through the concluding stages here, Frost.
Pictures tell the story here. It's come down to the two horses down the outside. You see the green colours, clearly Equience, and who else? Both jockeys throwing everything at their horse to get them to pick up. Misty Bolle had every chance, produced it at the right time, couldn't finish off. A little bump close to the line, and Equience has been able to outslog who else?
Yes, indeed. So very tight finish there, and there's John Powell and Basil exchanging pleasantries there, and a nice little moment between trainer and jockey. That was race number 6, and it was 38-12. So well done if you backed Equience. He wins the race, but it's a tight photo. Here's race 6.
It's the running of race number 6. They're set. Off and racing now. Misty Bolle commends very nicely. Silent Faith being ridden up on the outside, trying to go forward. Eternal Bright is between horses as they come down to the winning post and go by it now. Salvagente, it emerges through the pack. It's got the checked silks on. Going forward over on the inside is who else as they go towards the back section? Zinku at least. They were followed by Sky Fortune. Then came Jitterboy. Who else is trapped out wide? They were followed by Equience, enjoying a lovely run, but a fair way off the leader. Mr. Solo outside of it. And last of all is Rodham as they race down the back. Silent Faith has done a little bit of work, but has reached the lead here. Led over Salvagente, going to second. Misty Bolle, the favourite, is third over on the inside. Followed then by Eternal Bright. Then came Zinku down on the inside of Sky Fortune. Equience in the green getting off the fence between horses. Who else hasn't been able to get into the 800 is still out 3 and 4 deep as they come down the side. Jitterboy on trial at the 1600 is being a hard ridden. A gap of 2 lengths to Mr. Solo, and Rodham last of all. Down the side, and Silent Faith goes okay. He led by a length over in second. Salvagente. Now Misty Bolle picks up the speed between horses, runs into it nicely. Next of all is Equience and Zinku as they come to the bend. They were followed as a sweep for home by Sky Fortune, and who else out wider? Misty Bolle pounced on the lead over Silent Faith at the 300. They were followed by Equience, and who else is down the outside? Misty Bolle in front. Who else? And Equience coming it fairly quickly. Who else on the outside? Equience between horses. Misty Bolle trying to lift. Who else on the outside? Equience is just to his inside trying to lift, but who else just in front? Equience coming back. They hit it in a driving finish tight. If anything, maybe Equience over who else, but it's very tight. They're beaten off Misty Bolle. They were followed across the line by Silent Faith. Then came Sky Fortuna. Next to come in was Rodham, followed by Salvagente. Then came Mr. Solo. Zinku dropped out of it. Well back was Eternal Bright, and the last in was Jitterboy.
A nose by 3 1/4. All clear is there, race 6.